Hey folks, well first big adventure out. Well actually I've been out a few times to this local nature reserve close to me. As you know, I've been doing a lot of wildlife and bird photography of late, so I thought this time I'd try and bring you along with me. Now, I mean, wildlife photography is quite difficult, so I'm kind of not quite sure how I'm going to put this video together, because it's very different to doing paw street photography or filming how you might do a landscape shot, because landscapes don't move, but wildlife does. So I'm going to go on a little wander, see if we can see any birds to photograph, and then I might try and get some footage of them and talk you through how I took the shot. Now, just to set the scene, you can probably hear the birds tweeting in the background at the minute, but just to set the scene, it's a very bright day. It's fairly early in the morning. It's about 9:30, 10:15, so we've still got quite nice light because it's spring light. There's a slight haze, which means we've got a little natural diffuser going on in the sky, which is ideal for getting the lights on the birds, because one thing I'll tell you about now before we get into things is one of the most important things about bird photography is light, and having the right amount of light around you. And if I just spin you around so you can see the light around, see the light, there's quite a bit of light on my face there. Probably too much, because that was blowing the highlights, because at the minute the sun's come out. So we were talking about light earlier, and you saw how when I turned into the direct sunlight, even early in the morning, the sun was blowing out highlights, and you want to try and avoid that. Now, that's why a lot of people would advise photographing birds in the morning or in the evening when the sun's not as high in the sky. But when you've got some cloud cover, it acts like a natural diffuser. Now, the minute the sun's bright in the sky, and I'm facing it, and it's about 10:30 now, and the difference is, the reason my highlights are not blowing is simply because the trees in the forest are diffusing it, and you can actually see how the background's quite illuminated behind me. And that's why I'm walking this way into the forest, so that the dappled light coming through the trees is going to give a nice diffused light on any birds I see. And kind of that's the trick, is that light is so important. Not enough and the bird will look muddy and out of focus. Too much and it just looks washed out and flat. And hopefully we'll get some decent pictures today. The tree creep from earlier escaped. So I've seen a wren and some blue tits. So we'll have a wander around our walk and see if we can find anything. I've been watching some great tits and some coal tits flying around in a tree that's fallen over. I'll just show you the tree now, and I actually took the shot backlit. Now sometimes if you've got a lot of foliage around you, the scattered light can actually give you quite a pleasing shot when it's backlit. And here's what I captured. Now, taking video and photographs at the same time is hard, and by the time I'd taken some video, the bird had taken flight, but it's kind of nice to see them moving in real time rather than frozen in a picture. And you can see how flighty they are. I've learnt about a bird like a coal tit is quite flighty unless it's being fed by you or it's used to humans, whereas a bird like a robin is quite friendly because they're often quite bold birds. Now, I don't know if you can hear it or it'll peck while I'm recording, but one of the things I saw last time I was here was a woodpecker. They tend to stay quite high in the trees though, so it's quite difficult, as you can see from this shot, to get a good picture of them. But the best way to hear them is you can either listen for their young, which is probably a bit earlier this time of year, but you can hear them peck. So they'll hammer the wood of a tree to make the grubs come out so they can eat them. And there's about 3 or 4 of them here at least. I heard one back behind me. They're not as active as they were last time though. I'm just hoping that as we walk along, we hear them again. It'd be great if one would just come down on a perch, because not had much luck today, but sometimes you don't. Oh, you might have just heard that faintly. There's one over to my right somewhere. But there's definitely some around, pecking away. But we'll try some of the hides, because there's some hide. I'm coming up to a bird hide. There you go. You hear that? So it's definitely over to my right, this woodpecker. So we're going to go and hunt woodpeckers. There you go. Let's see what we can find. So this is the one of the main ponds. You can see one of the hides off in the distance. And it looks like we've got a few coots and tufted ducks in the distance there. I'm not going to get a shot of them from here because the position of the sun is really putting them in shadow and backlighting them in quite a negative way. It's direct light, but it gives you an idea of what wildlife's here. And obviously in a hide you've got a lot more control over what goes on, in the sense that you're hidden and tucked away. Now notice we've got a lot of reeds around here. We're going to go over the far side of the pond, and we're also going to see if we can spot a reed bunting. So folks, I've just been quite quiet because I've just spotted a deer. So I'm going to try and get round to a better position to get a photograph of it, because it's quite over in the distance feeding on the far side of the pond. So let's see what we can do. So the deer was just on the far side of this pond, and I managed to walk round, but the deer spotted me, got a bit spooked, and it sort of went round this way. So I followed it back round, but it saw another person and it's disappeared now. They're very shy, but I'm pleased I got a little bit of footage of the deer. It wasn't the perfect angle on it, because one thing, it's quite, what you want to try and do is get good subject separation, and really we were just sort of showing that the deer was there, but with the background very close behind it, we just weren't able to get the subject separation. So we've finally reached the other side of the pond. Look at that, with my hair sticking out all over the place because it's still quite damp. But anyway, I digress. We've made it to the other side of the pond, past some robins on the way around. As you can see how close you can get to them, they're extremely friendly birds, as I said earlier. But we're heading into the reeds, and there's no direct sunlight now, but we've just got like light diffuse cloud, which is excellent really. It's almost perfect conditions. So fingers crossed, we'll see a reed bunting down here, you never know. As I saw one last week and I've got some footage from it as well, and I've got a few pictures. So if we don't find one this week, we've still got some nice footage for you to see, so you can see what they're like. So I'm off to have a look. Catch you in a bit. Hey folks, so I'm a bit bedraggled from the well, it's not that windy, but it's been a bit breezy and damp, so my hair's sticking out. But we've made it to the end of the trail. We're back at the start, and we went into the bird hides at the end. We did get a few shots of the reed bunting and a little bit of footage, but unfortunately, although it came really close, it flew off straight away when I got there, and I hovered around about an hour for it to come back, and it did eventually come back. So we did get some kind of shots of it, but we've been in the hide, and I've kind of got, it's a good place to be, and it's a good place to start, because it's the feeding station and you get a lot of birds there, and I got some absolutely great footage of some blue tits and the nuthatch, and again I managed to get another in-flight shot, and again I'm using a form of, on my camera it's got like a pre-shot mode where I set about 1/3200th of a second, f5.6, but the camera's collecting shots all the time, so that when the actual picture's taken, I don't always have to get the anticipation right of the bird leaving, and I got a really good shot to end on, so really happy with that. So it's been an interesting trip, and hope it explains to you how tricky it can be to do wildlife photography. You've seen how things didn't always turn out as I expected or anticipated, and what I hoped happened didn't happen. I'm just watching a bird there. So I hope you enjoyed my little sort of walk around a wildlife park, and as I learn wildlife and bird photography. But we've lost the light really now. As you can see, it's quite dull, overcast, it's starting to rain, and it's past lunchtime, so I've been here several hours, so I'm going to head off, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and just ask away. Catch you all in the next one, folks. Bye.